Here's just a little video showing the testing and recommissioning of a 3.5-inch Britannia for a customer over in Canada. This is testing the chassis on air. We had to do a few little running repairs, but nothing major to the chassis. The boiler here, apologies for the fast-moving camera, but you can see it's at £180 per square inch, and the boiler's off the chassis and unclad in areas so that we can see the details. Here, rolling it over, again, apologies for the fast-moving camera, but you can see inside the firebox here, on this locomotive, there is a combustion chamber with 6 thermic siphons, the vertical tubes there, that allowed the water to circulate within the fire space. And looking deeper into that hole, you can see the fire tubes that run forwards to the smoke box. The boiler back on again. This is the locomotive running on air in the workshop on the rolling road to try and fix anomalies with the water system, to make sure that the non-return valves worked, to make sure that the axle pumps worked, and to make sure generally that the plumbing worked before putting a fire in to steam it up. And out on the rolling road now in steam, everything working, ready for delivery to the new owner. That was John just testing the drain cocks that you could see working there. Anthracite beans is the size of coal that we use on a loco this small. They're just the right size to allow the right level of air to go through there so that they can burn hot, and anthracite burns particularly cleanly, so it stops any soot and ash and tar getting into the tubes, which would impair steaming. As you can see here at the steam workshop, we try and test all locomotives slowly. Any locomotive will run fast, but if it will run slowly, you know you've got the valve timing on the valve gear right. So it gives you a much better indication as to whether everything's set up correctly. Cool. The injector there, injecting water and making the classic chirping noise that they make when they're injecting fast. And here a little abridged clip of the accumulation steam test. That was the pressure gauge showing 90 psi, and both safety valves going off there with the blower on full, so the fire was raging hot, just to make sure that the safety valves are up to the job of getting rid of any steam that the locomotive can generate. And then John here testing the blowdown valve. Plenty of steam out of there. We've obviously left the water trickling through the injector there, an oversight, but there we go. Check it goes backwards as well. So this is Mark opening the regulator to check the timing's still okay backwards, and as you can see it is. It'll still run quite gently and smoothly in reverse as well. It's not uncommon for miniature locomotives to run worse in one direction than the other, because the tolerances on the valve timing is so critical that it's difficult to get it perfect. So it's often a compromise where you will optimise the locomotive valves to work better in forwards than they do in reverse. It's forwards what it does most of the time. But on this locomotive it's pretty much identical reverse and forwards. Running really slowly here, you can see the engine's labouring a little because it's actually testing the water pump, the axle pump. This is the bypass pipe, so you can see the water squirting out of there and squirting out fast. And when Mark tightens the bypass valve down, you'll see that water stop flowing, as it does there. And that's because the water is now going into the boiler instead of bypassing back into the tender again. And when he undoes it, it bypasses back into the tender. So again, that's another way, as well as the injector, of getting water into the locomotive. There we go. That's another one finished and ready to be shipped off to its new owner. Thanks for watching.